Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Love Movement Podcast. We really, really appreciate our sponsors and our viewers. You guys really, you build us up. And when I see you out on the street, you give me words of encouragement, tell me thank you. You guys are doing a good job. But I got a heck of a team, man. There's the Money Minded Toya Capri and the hottest goddess, Lady Z, with all the fashions and all that good stuff. But as far as our sponsors, we want to thank Ladies Living Life. They got a couple events coming up. Mother's Day Booze Cruise. It's $40 per person. It's Saturday. You can call Tangi at 708-600-4343 or Jackie 708-692-3787. And they also doing a event Memphis in Minnesota, and Memphis in May. Memphis in May and Memphis in Minnesota. So you guys can call them up and find out all the details. And then we have, as I say, the Village of Broadview that's doing some positive things. They're taking things to another level. First that I've heard of is a whole women's trustee board and the mayor. So, and they're doing some positive things. So on June 14th through the 16th, they're doing the Juneteenth celebration. So you guys might want to check that out. Very, very important. You can call them at 708-681-3600, extension 259. Extension 259. The View has changed their hours, but for Mother's Day, they got a special event. And I'm going to be there for sure because Ronnie G, the saxophonist, is going to be there, and he's going to be delivering his message. He's one of the coldest I've ever seen put a horn to his mouth. So he's going to be there, and that's going to be May 12th. You can call them for reservations, 708-540-8439, 708-540-8439. And then we have the Viola Shy. They get the specials all the time. They said, come say hi. HIGH. They say come and say hi. So you want to go down there and get your specials. Very, very nice bunch of men and women that work down there. So you might want to make some friends too. And then we had a Blue Note, 708-343-2670. You can book all kind of reservations for dates and stuff like that. So make sure that we do that. And then I have Miss Victoria Van. She's a trustee from Westchester. And she asked me to tell y'all to say the dates because they're going to do a freedom walk from Westchester to Broadview or from Broadview to Westchester, however it's going to go. But I'll have more details because she'll be on the show on the 23rd. Then they're going to do something on June 22nd, which is a community celebration. They're going to have vendors, food, entertainment, music, or whatever the case might be. So we'll get more information about that.
That's what's up.
Soon, yeah.
If we get any more sponsors, we're going to need a 2-hour segment. You need a whole hour just to...
That's okay. That's okay. As long as we get them.
We got Jewel. We got Walmart.
That's what I'm going for.
Who else do we have?
That's what I'm going for. So, but at the end of the day, this is a pleasure for me, man. Watch the kid grow into what he is right now. But I'm going to let him tell his own story. We got the Byron Banks, and Byron, Little League Baseball, which his daddy was part of, and man, and our kids, men and his father's kids, they grew up together. They played Little League Baseball. They did all that stuff. But Byron was on a team in high school, and I'm gonna let you tell me who these boys. It was Jason
Gibson.
It was Danny Chandler. It was J.R. Chandler.
J.R. Washington. Yep.
J.R. And you were the pitcher, and Jason was pitchers. But y'all had a hell of a team, man. Yeah. That was one game from downstate.
One game from downstate. Can't forget little bro either. Little bro and little T Love.
There you go.
That team was special. That team is the last team to do what we did at East. So that's kind of my motive with Athletic Connection. Although I can't direct kids in any type of way or where they're gonna go to high school, I would love for the brand of baseball to get back to where it was
Right.
when we were.
We're gonna
when we
have
were coming
Ernest
through.
Horton on here, and he's gonna try to get it right. But
Uh,
tell us about your career when you left Proviso East,
mhm.
played baseball. Tell us how did your career take off?
When I left Proviso East, went to college. There's three of us that went and
What
played in the
school did you go to?
I left when I originally left. I went to Indiana University in the Big Ten. I was there for 2 years, and then I ended up transferring out, and I went to Grambling State University
Yes,
down in
sir. Yes,
Louisiana,
sir.
where I played Omega Psi Phi.
Oh
Y'all
Lord, don't
see,
get him
uh,
started.
yesterday
Gamma
was my
Gamma
50.
chapter.
Well, day before yesterday was my 46th anniversary. And he
Yes.
wasn't even born. It was 10 years later when he was born.
Man, yeah, that's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
but then you go to
So,
Grambling and
so go to Grambling. I finished up playing baseball.
you
One of them
pitching left hand.
left-hand pitcher. I'm starting, and uh, I still wasn't where I wanted to be as far as baseball. Just arm wasn't what it used to be. But I did what I could to contribute to my team. But one message that I will say, my head coach Barry Ray, he gave me, and this has stuck with me to this day. We had like our exit interviews for like the winter, I believe it was, going to Christmas break, and then you come back and they just give you a message. So anyway, he had a shoebox. It was like a Nike box, and we was having our conversation. And he was like, "Man, I want you to." He said, "When I get done, I'm gonna have you open up this box, and you're gonna see everything that's standing in your way."
Mm.
But as the conversation went, he basically told me, shout out Coach Barry Ray, by the way. But and during that conversation, he said, "Man, I know you had high expectations. I know that you came out of high school highly touted, and it didn't work out the way that you wanted it to." He said, "But you can go out in life and you can be something greater than just a baseball player." He said, "You can be a great person in society, and it's only one thing that's standing in your way." And they make the Nike boxes now. They got the hinge on it. So when I opened it up, it was a mirror. I was looking at myself. It was
Oh,
like,
that's
you're the
pretty
only
dope.
person that could stand in your way and stop you from doing it. And I'll never let myself stop
It's
myself from
deep.
doing anything.
It's
So
deep.
I definitely take that with me.
When and so now you come back home.
Hmm.
You come back to the community.
Hmm.
Now you're involved with my boys, the Athletic Connection and
Yes.
Danka basketball and all of that
Mhm.
stuff. And you're involved with Proviso East and
Mhm.
West on a professional level. But tell us what it's like being part of the Athletic Connection.
All right. Well, Athletic Connection
Y'all see, he
was
got
a.
the gear on too.
Oh
Look at
yeah.
him.
Oh, yeah.
He
AK.
he got it on.
Yeah. So when it comes to Athletic Connection, it originated with me, Jason Gibson, and Marcus Hatch. We had a project in college. We were all sport management majors, and we had to put together some type of facility, like a recreational
Right.
facility. But we put together this facility. It was called Players Palace Sports Complex.
Okay.
We had to come up with budgets, marketing plans, all of that stuff. Well, when we came back home, Gib was like, "Man, we got to put this to work. We got to put this in place." And Gib broke out the assignment that we had with the whole marketing plan that we put together. And when he went through that marketing plan, that became Athletic Connection. We used what we did. So from there, our goal was, it was a nonprofit organization. We just wanted to get back to the community. We didn't have any teams, anything like that. We were doing Easter egg hunts. And I think you remember that era.
Oh
This is
yeah.
in 2013.
Yeah.
So then from there, we started getting opportunities to do other things. We had basketball teams. We started the baseball program. But being part of Athletic Connection is being part of something that's bigger than yourself, because when this was designed, it wasn't for us. It was for the kids that came up after
Well,
us.
I mean, you guys are the up and coming Stanley Chandlers and Mr. Banks and
Yeah.
T
Yeah.
Loves and
Yeah.
all of that because that's what they did.
Yes.
The Antonio Schaefer's and all of that. The
All
people
people that I had encounters with.
that coached
Every
you.
every single person you named, I took a piece from every single one of the men in this community that had a part in my upbringing. I had a father at home. I never take away from my father, did everything, but I had a lot of other fathers outside. When I went outside, I was kept in line. I had you guys out there to keep us in check, and y'all loved on us, but y'all also fed us the information and the tools that we needed to go out and become great men later on in
We had
life.
a village back
Yeah,
then. That's
a
what that
village. It
was.
was a village. It was
Yeah.
definitely a village. That's
Yeah.
something that we preach now because that was so important.
Yeah.
So important. When you look back at it, then you realize, man, like we had all of these people. I just had shout out Coach Thomas, Roosevelt Raiders. I just had a long conversation with Coach Thomas about a week ago. I talked to Coach Thomas, and man, it was so refreshing, just to have that conversation with him, and but to be able to tell him how much he meant to me, because he was my coach at Roosevelt. I didn't even know Coach Thomas was football coach at
Right.
East,
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
but yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the same Coach Thomas that was my basketball coach.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the same one you talking about. But it's so important. The main thing that sticks out to me is not only you guys playing sports, but the parent support.
Mhm. Yeah.
Parents, I mean, they was at 10th Park, parked, couldn't get down the street, and they had their chairs, and it was good because when I grew up playing baseball in Chicago at Columbus Park, we didn't have that parent support like
Mhm.
that. But when I came out here and I saw, it was something that just attracted me and drew my heart to, man, this I like
Yeah.
this community.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the games were live. They were
Oh
definitely
yeah,
live.
oh yeah,
I remember because I started in Maywood and then I ended up playing in Bellwood, so I kind of got. That's how I know so many people in the area too. But when I would go back and forth, Jason went back and forth between two. It was so cool, man. It's just two totally different environments, but it was love on both sides.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, those parks was filled. They were
So
filled.
so now what is Athletic Connection doing? What are you putting together right now? I heard you got you told me a story earlier. You could tell that story if you want about living on
Right.
13th.
Yep. Oh yeah. Hey.
And with
Yeah.
the 13th Street positives.
Yeah. I watched. I watched that whole episode. Uh,
Mhm.
it's funny because I never knew Reg until maybe like what was it 4 years ago when we had the first toy drive. But I knew Reg. I just didn't know that was them. So I lived on 13th and Warren. It was me, Trev Anderson, Vinny, Martez, Will Bond. All us lived right there on 13th. Me, Trev, and Vinny were 1, 2, 3 doors.
Right.
So I remember seeing some crazy stuff, just growing up. But it's crazy how times change. Those men grew up, they matured, and they're doing what they're doing now, and it's an awesome thing. But it's pretty cool because now Reg's grandson actually plays in our organization. He's a
That's
huge
what I'm
piece of
talking
our
about.
organization. So it's pretty cool to be able to provide that outlet for his grandson to make sure that he
And
has
y'all do the
tools to
toy
use.
drive together,
And we
right?
do the toy drive together. That'll never stop. As long as I have something to say about it, I definitely. I heard one of them say that, man, it was so fulfilling the first time they did it. When we did that first toy drive with them, and it was all the way down to Des Plaines somewhere,
Yeah.
it was one of the most fulfilling things ever.
I did a
Um,
video. I drove down Madison Street and it was ridiculous where
yeah,
those cars was
it
coming
was it
from.
was crazy. The first part of it that was more crazy before we actually got to the toy drive was I did an Amazon gift list and I put it out. And if you would have saw my basement was full of Amazon boxes and toys, and it was just like, man. So, Jason Gibson flew in from Vegas, and then you had Derek Upchurch and Donnell. They all came out to my house because we had toys in other places. We had a big U-Haul truck. We filled it up, put all those toys in there, and it just felt like, man, like look what we just did for the town,
Yeah.
and it just felt really good. And Sterling was involved the day before. We was walking around the neighborhood giving toys and turkeys and stuff to families through Sterling's
Right.
foundation. So it was
Salute
yeah,
Foundation.
so the Salute Foundation. So it was pretty cool. It was a great that was a great Christmas,
Yeah.
especially seeing what families were at that time.
Absolutely.
But just jumping into AK. I'm on the baseball side of AK. That's what I did. That's what I know. I'm not a football guy. I'm not a basketball guy. I know baseball, right? So on the baseball side of things, we just made one of the biggest moves we could have possibly made. And that was joining the Memorial Park District and Bellwood. It's the cover Bellwood, Melrose Park, Hillside, Berkeley, those North Lake. So it covers those areas. So shout out to MIMS for helping that to come to fruition. But we had one field. We talked to other park districts. It just it wasn't right. I you can't you can't sell your organization to anybody.
Right.
You can't collaborate with anybody, right? So it had to be right. It had to be the right fit where you feel, all right, they're giving back to us and we have a lot to give back to them. And it was the perfect fit. So with that, we were able to this year bring back the parade that I haven't seen a baseball parade in this area in a long time. Made me shed tears just looking at it. I was in the car with my wife, but she looking at me like she know how hard
Passion.
yeah, these gray hairs, not too many people my age got them. We starting to get them, but I got a lot. But it's a lot of work that goes into it. But the Athletic Connection Little League is growing every year. One thing that I did have to learn is I had to learn to not take a lot of things personal and to ensure that I'm making decisions and we're making decisions as a board for the betterment of the program and to make sure that the kids are growing. And you know, when people have to um, leave or do certain things, it's not personal. They're doing what's best for them, just like we had to do what's best for us for the organization. You got to make sure that but beyond that, AK Little League is up and is growing, and I couldn't be more happy with where it's at right now.
And what's more important is that the kids are watching you all. So as they watch you, they're gonna watch every move that you make, and they're gonna like, is this what I want to be a part of? So you guys encourage them, but you got the organization, you came back to the community or whatever the case might be, but then you had to choose a career.
Mm-hmm.
So in that career, tell us about how did you get involved into
Okay.
law enforcement?
Okay. I was working at Colorado Technical University as an admissions advisor when I first came back. Stressful. Stressful. You're an admissions advisor and you help people get into college, but it's a sales job. That's what it is. You got a quota to make, all of those different things. And it was stressful. I didn't even realize how stressful it was. But my uncle, Fred Gilbert, he came to me, was like, nephew, he was like, you might want to apply for Cook County Adult Probation. And believe it or not, I told him no the first time. I had just got a promotion at work, and I was like, "No, I'm good," because I was gonna take a pay cut, step back. But then I sat back and I thought about it, and I was like, "Man, well, how can I could be a positive influence to the community. This is a great job. It seems like something more along what I want to do. I never in my life thought that I would be in law enforcement, right? That wasn't one of the goals of mine. But as I thought back and I sat back more, when he came to me with it again, I applied and I ended up getting a job. And I've been working as an adult probation officer for Cook County, going on 10 years. I'll be 10 years this upcoming February. I'm also trying to take some leaps in that particular field, but we'll see what happens with that. But it's been great. I do work nights. I work in the home confinement unit, but it gives you a sense of like I'm taking care of the community.
Well, tell them what home confinement unit is and how they operate.
Yeah.
But a lot of people that's listening, they might
ankle
not
bracelet.
Yeah, that's she said it. That's exactly what it is. I work in that unit. Basically, it's for the most part, it's people who are either sentenced to home confinement, meaning that they have to serve so much time in the house. They have curfews and they just got to be in the house. It's actually why people are like, man, they got me. I got to stay in the house. It's actually a good positive thing. I showed up to somebody's house one day and it was a memorial for them because they had gotten killed.
know.
Well, when me and my partner looked at the
Video.
newsletter and we saw when he was out if he'd have been in the house during his curfew, he would be still here.
Mhm.
Right. But basically I go check in on people. It's also an alternative for people who are facing criminal charges to be able to not have to sit in jail. So they get to go home and they get to spend time at home instead of sitting in Cook County. So we're just making sure that they at home and they're doing what they're supposed to do. But we also deal with people who are part of domestic violence issues and things like that. So with the domestic violence, you're just checking up to make sure that people are not in areas that they shouldn't be to
Right.
protect victims. Right.
Right.
So, and victims are men and women, by the way. So
Yeah.
domestic
ones
violence
that's
isn't
on-
just one sided.
I was not to cut you off. I was thinking that the ones that are on home confinement, they deal with a lot of different personalities and a lot of different probation officers. You don't give me that feel like you super stern. Like I see you have compassion,
Yeah.
for people. So I'm sure they're very appreciative to have you
Mhm.
as opposed to somebody that's really on their
Yeah.
neck, as they say.
When I
Because a
show
lot of people don't like to deal with probation officers.
probably 3-4 times a week, I show up to somebody's house and they're going crazy on me, right? But I had it, my
So you
old
do get
partner.
cussed out still.
Initially when you first get there, but my partner called me the probationer whisperer, just because like I could calm him down. It's like I'm not finna meet you with the same energy.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
talk to
get. That's what
you,
I get
and I'm,
from.
I'm gonna help you to like calm down and just understand like, hey, look, it's better that we help you get through the situation the right way than to make it worse. And
Right.
once they hear that, and they hear somebody that care about them, you was a police officer, CB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I didn't look at you as a police officer. I looked at you as somebody who cared about us.
Right.
So like that's all. That's all that it. It comes with its flaws or whatever.
Well, see, being a police officer, y'all saw me regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Being a probation officer, you see that guy not regularly.
Right.
You don't see him daily. So
True.
he's frustrated
Mm-hmm.
already that he got this thing on his ankle.
Yeah.
But what eases the tension, because you want to ease the tension, is just listening sometimes. You
Mhm.
just, hey, go ahead. Tell me what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Show some compassion like you doing, like she says she feel that you're doing. But man, it got to be a little tough job. I'm gonna give you a little scenario. This Chicago police officer got killed a couple weeks ago. But what's the crazy part is that another the boy that did it, his cousin,
Mhm.
they went to his house and he threw the gun out the window. And do you all have a unit that does that kind of work?
Mm, I don't know if I can. No, we don't.
Okay.
But I don't. I don't want to get too much more into
Right.
all of that different stuff. But yeah, nah, we don't.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
we don't.
Now I
So
saw on social media where they had, I don't know how accurate this is, but they had an ankle bracelet where you can now speak through, like they got like some type of intercom
Talking
where
about
you
like-
could talk to
What
the
was that?
person. now.
AI.
Yeah.
Is that-
I think that happened to TI or something like that. Yeah, they got all type of ankle monitors. They got different things that do all kinds of
Okay,
stuff.
so that was, they didn't make that up. That
Yeah.
actually
Oh, yeah.
exists.
Yeah, they do. It's all kinds.
Oh, they about to be irritated
Yeah,
for
but
real.
it's all to just keep the sanity and
I mean, yeah.
is to keep everything in order.
You got to understand the system. That's
Yeah.
all. Understand how the system works. But at the end of the day, now you're feeding your family. You got a
Mhm.
job,
Yep.
and you're feeding your family. You got the kids, the wife, whatever the case might be, and that's what you do.
Mhm.
But you also have a passion. See, I got these beautiful girls. They
They need
want
some
to
help.
get some pictures
Yeah.
taken and all of that. How did you fall into the passion of
That was wild.
photography?
The photography thing. Now, so when I was at Grambling, serving Omega on the yard as an undergrad, I usually used to make all of the flyers for when we have parties and different events for Omega Week and different things like that, right? So I had limited technology to use, but I got the job done. But I was really into like the whole graphic design thing. I have a very artistic mind, and I think of these different images, but I can't draw, right? So with the photography, it started off actually me doing graphic design. I was doing these posters for the different it started, I think, with the Spartans was the first organization that I did it for. And I made these posters for the kids, but it was from the cell phone pictures and things that the parents was giving me. And they were so pixelated, making 16 by 20 posters. It was very pixelated. So I was like, I want a camera. Well, my wife also wanted me to have a camera just so that we can use it for family trips because we always going somewhere. So just to kind of like take pictures and have really nice pictures with my family trips. But in my mind, I wanted it to take pictures so I can do this graphic design. Fast forward, I get the camera. She actually got it from me. Thanks, babe. But she got the camera from me, but I grew addicted like to the photography side of it. Like actually, I still like the graphic design part, but I like the photography more. So before I knew it, I had a full-fledged studio, like everything. I could probably put two different setups together, right? So I got a full-fledged studio.
When you say setups, what does that mean?
Like lighting setups, like I could probably put together 4 light setups. So that's 8 lights, but that'd be 2 different stations. So and I've done it. So at high schools, but I started having Athletic Connection. That was my guinea pig. So the first team that I took pictures of was one of our travel teams that we had. So I took pictures for our travel team, and then I think the next was like maybe the Spartans, and then I had the Bills. So it started like in the local area. I got people calling me up in DeKalb, everywhere. It's just expanded, but that's how it happened. It was just one of those things where sometimes you don't. That us as people, we have to understand that you can't plan out everything either. And you gotta follow.
Your
You gotta
spirit.
follow your spirit. Yes, you gotta follow your spirit, and you gotta follow what's in you, and if you have a vision, follow that vision. Like go after it, and you know people are not going to see you for that vision either, though. That's what the other thing is. Sometimes they know you for everything that they've ever known you for, right? So sometimes when we're trying to evolve and we're trying to go into other things in life, you're like, what are you doing? Like why would you do something like that? Yeah, when you start doing like like he doing that, like you a baseball player. Why are you taking pictures of people? Because it's something that I grew into and I like, and and you have to follow your goals because people will try to talk you out of your dreams or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So but it happened, and I just I had the support of my wife. Things you just mentioned, CB, Athletic Connection, my job, photography business. I got 3 kids that play all different sports, and I have a wife at home that I got to take care of, right?
Amen.
You gotta balance it. It is like it's
Right
it's
on.
tough. It's so tough.
Right on.
It's
It's a
tough.
job.
You
Yeah.
gotta balance it. So that's the other thing is when you taking on these new things, you can't forget the people that matter most.
So do you have your kids working with you? Do you?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
If you look on my Instagram page, sometimes you'll see my daughters with the spray cans. They'll be
Yeah,
spraying
yeah. I
smoke.
saw that. I saw that.
So they'll be, and actually my oldest daughter, she, by the way, Kylie Banks, she told me when I left, she said, mention my name, let them know that you have me. That's exactly what she told me.
Okay.
So Kylie is my oldest daughter.
Hey,
Savannah.
Kylie. Hey.
How you
That's
doing?
my oldest daughter, and then you have Savannah. That's my youngest daughter. And
Hey,
Marquise is my
Savannah.
son.
Hey.
And Marquise is my oldest son. But with them, Kylie, I taught her how to use my old camera. I just bought a new camera, and I taught her to use my old camera. And now when I go on shoots, and she's available because she has just a busy schedule with me as me. She can take like the simple headshots that I take for the team photos. She takes those photos for me now, and she does a great job. So, uh, there's no child labor going on where I'm not paying them. I pay them.
There you
I pay
go.
them, and give them opportunity to go get the things they want. Like, she plays sports on a high level, so she got really expensive equipment she need, and I buy some, and she buys some of it. With
That's
her own money.
teaching. That's teaching,
Yeah.
son. You teaching her how to make a living. And she don't have to just do a 9 to 5 or work for corporate America. She can do it for
She can
herself.
do it for herself.
Absolutely.
And that's very intelligent. And so, but now we talked about all that. Tell them the name of your business.
Southpaw Solutions.
Southpaw Solutions.
That word Southpaw stuck with me. So
Because he left-handed,
yeah,
y'all. And
see, I don't know if you remember that. Was it my sophomore year at Proviso East, I was on the cover of School Sports Magazine, and they called me Sensational Southpaw. And ever since then, like I've been just that Southpaw just stuck with me. I'm a lefty, but it stuck with me. But at Southpaw Solutions, when I created the name, I wanted to make sure that I had a range. I wasn't boxed in. So I called it Southpaw Solutions because I can do graphic design, I can do the photography, I can make business documents, I can make posters and things like that. So it gives me a wider range to be able to utilize that name in different spaces. So, yeah, but Southpaw Solutions LLC, Southpaw Solutions on all social media.
Do you do
My plug.
videography as well?
I do not do videography. I know quite a few people who do, but I
Okay.
don't get into it. It's as it's a very tedious thing with videography. When you
Yeah.
got to start cutting them videos, it's a lot.
Adrian Schaefer do a little, AD do
Yep.
a little
Yeah.
videography.
Yep.
Yeah.
AD. What up, AD?
What's up, AD?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's very, very enlightening to hear your story and where you came from and how you came back to the community and 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 sharing your information with the young kids, whatever the case might be. What would you tell the parents? What would you tell the kids how they should go about this thing if they're interested in sports or if they're interested in their own business or whatever career that they might be interested in? You said something earlier about follow your spirit.
Yeah. Um, you gotta really learn and know everything about what you're trying to get into. If it's sports, then you need to know exactly what type of youth sports. If you're really trying to advance in youth sports, it's not like it was when we were kids.
Okay.
When we were kids, it was recreation. All of this travel stuff, all of that stuff didn't. It was coming in our era. It started in our era of childhood, but it wasn't as big as it is right now. This AAU basketball, the travel baseball, all that stuff. But more than that, there are a lot of sports facilities that are popping up where kids are training year round.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a huge advocate of training in the same sport year round. You need to switch up those muscles that you're using. But when it comes to your number one sport, you can't stop it. You can't stop. So if for instance, I'll stick with my sport. If you're a baseball player but you like to play football and basketball too, at least one day out of the week you need to put in 30 minutes in the cage in your off season. Um, because the kid that plays year round, he's still putting in 5, 6, 7 days a week. And you parents, if your child is really interested in sports and they're looking to really advance like to the high level, it costs a little bit. It's an investment. It's a
Yeah,
huge
it is.
investment.
It
It's
is.
a huge investment. We
I learned that when Shannon and Sterling was playing. Fortunately, but their teams took care of them because they had great sponsors.
Mhm.
Nike and was their main sponsor, and they used to send them buckets of shoes
Mhm.
and all of that kind of stuff. So they played for Illinois Warriors under Larry Butler, and that was Shannon played for, and Sterling played for Mac Irvin
McIrvin,
group,
fire.
and they were. And it's so funny how how the game go. Like you said, those sponsors pay those AAU teams a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of money, and they give them a lot of gear, a lot of equipment, or whatever the case might be, because they're trying to recruit that next Barry Bonds or that next Michael Jordan or whatever the case might be. So these are the things that makes a difference when you can make those connections.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you did something with Amazon, and then they filled your basement up
Mm-hmm.
full of toys. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just and once you make those connections, but as a as a Q dog, but as a man, I'm proud of you.
Appreciate
You
it.
you come a long way, son. You and you know you're doing it your way.
Mhm.
See, that's the key. You know, when you coming up, do it your way. Make sure you have fun.
Right.
Make sure your family has fun. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You say I got 3 kids, and then you say and a wife. So that means that she's separate
Mhm.
from
Oh,
all
yeah.
of that.
Oh yeah,
That means she's
I
got
cannot
she
combine her and the
she
things that I got to
she
do with.
she got special needs,
Oh
and
yeah.
you
Yeah.
recognize that,
Oh yeah.
and that's very, very, very important.
Mhm.
So, from the love movement, man, bottom of my heart, we really, really appreciate you. And T Love, I know he proud of you. I know Bama proud of you. I
Right.
know your daddy's proud of you.
Oh yeah.
You dig?
Yep.
And your brother
Yep.
Christopher,
Yep. Yeah, Chris is very much involved in this as well.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very much involved in the athletic connection side of things. So, yeah,
Jason,
Jason Gibson,
Donnell,
Darnell, Trey Brown,
Trey Brown,
Absolutely.
Derek
y'all out there
Church,
in Vegas.
Latoya Thomas.
When you get back here, you make sure you talk to us so we can get you on this show, because this is very important. The love movement is about showing love to the people, and making sure that people understand that there's a lot of people that's doing positive things, but you don't know nothing about it
Yeah.
because you know some people don't follow you on social media. Some people might not know exactly what you're doing, but our job is to expose all of the positive things that you're doing
Or they may
and
just
watch
know
you
what
grow.
you're known for, as you
Mhm.
say. They
Yeah.
just know you by
Yeah.
playing baseball.
Yeah.
But they don't
Yeah.
know you
I
doing all
know
this
all
other
the other
stuff.
things
out
you're
here.
doing.
Right.
Kind of wrapping up.
Go ahead.
I got
Yeah.
something for you.
Oh, hey,
Got
hey.
AK swag bag.
AK
Okay.
swag bags.
You know we like gifts.
Yeah.
So,
I can't afford nothing else but a gift.
no, that's for you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can't afford that.
Okay, y'all.
So one thing I want to do, I want to shout out Carlos Patterson. Carlos Patterson came to me a few years ago and he's like, Byron, we got to do something for the girls. We can't just do this baseball thing. And one thing that we did is we started, you'll have 2 shirts. You'll have one that represents AK baseball, one that represents the softball. But we started the girls softball portion of Athletic Connection Little League, and it's been so great. We have like 6 girls that are playing travel baseball in various different teams outside of AK now, and that's just all a testament of them having a start. They would not have had that had we not started the softball program. So shout out to Carlos for bringing that. I said, Carlos, look, I said, I got a lot going on, Carlos. Carlos Maywood PD too, but Carlos, I said, I got a lot going on, Los. I can't be the face of starting it. He's like, I got you, B. And he hit the ground running. And I just been there to support him and making sure that everything that goes on with that softball program is where it need to be. And I got 2 daughters too, so I was all for it.
Yeah, and that's good. But in Carlos Patterson, his father, Carl Patterson, I used to work with as a police officer. So Carlos is second generation from his dad.
Mhm.
And then now he's the police counselor at Proviso East High School, which I was when
Right.
you guys
Yep.
was there.
And we were
So it is, yeah, shout out to my man Carlos. Didn't know that, Carlos, but God bless you. And
Yeah.
he's one of the football coaches at East too, right?
Yeah, you're a football coach at East.
Mm.
Carlos, he
Carlos
got
a
a jack of
beast.
all trades too.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
now coaching softball at Proviso East. So, and his daughter is one of those girls that made a travel team outside, and they're doing really well right now. So she's on one of the best 12U teams in the area. So,
Well,
excuse me.
Okay.
God bless you, man. Good luck
God
to
bless
you
you,
and your
man. Love you.
family, man. You be safe out there in that work world, but you keep doing what you're doing for these kids and these families because somebody see what you're
Mhm.
doing.
Yes, sir.
And tell
Thank
them
you.
how they can get a hold of Southpaw Solutions LLC as well as Athletic Connection.
Yeah, so it's Southpaw Solutions, spelled just how it sounds, on Instagram and Facebook. And then it's Athletic Connection Little League. Well, it's now Memorial Park Athletic Connection Little League on Instagram and Facebook. Um, and then you have Athletic Connection Training, which is Donnell Brown. He does Athletic Connection Training out in Willowbrook.
In Willowbrook.
Okay.
So Donnell has a Facebook page, Donnell Brown, and under Athletic Connection, that's Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, it's Athletic Connection Training, or is it AK Training? It's AK Training.
AK Training.
Yep. So that's Donnell Brown. So
Hey.
and he doesn't just work with the kids. He works with the ladies too. So,
Yeah, I see him have
yeah.
Toya Thomas.
Yeah, they all out there working out. So
Yeah.
it's dope. So
yeah,
we
that's
just-
good. Well, listen, man, once again, we say we love you, man, and we really, really, really appreciate you, and we appreciate all our fans. And as you see, here's a young man that what our motto is: treat people the way you want to be treated and never give up. And he never gave up. And now you see where he is right now.
That's
So
what it
to
is.
all of our fans, all our viewers, we appreciate y'all. Everybody that tuned in tonight, much love.
Yep.
Right.
It's the
Thank
love
you,
movement.
thank you.